illegal participation on the defense. 15-yard penalty from the previous spot. Remains first down.
This had better be a big play after all of that. Second down and 8, 4.5 to go in the half, 6-0 Beavers. Jonathan from the right hash from the zone 25 goes back to throw and throws the out, and it's caught, and it's going to be a big play. Chad Johnson down the left sideline. Nobody will catch Chad, and it's a touchdown, 75 yards for the Beavers. This is the moment, and right here will tell perhaps all about that. 3rd and 1.5 from the right hash. Simon's in the handoff. Ken cuts to the left. First down and more. 30, 25, 20. Simonton on his way. Ken into the end zone. Touchdown Beavers, and the streak is going to end here tonight. The snap on target to Wojtnik. He gets a much better punt away here. Sammy Strawder back to his 30-yard line. Starts up the middle. Gets to the 40. He's got a seam. 45 midfield. 45-40. He's got a chance to go. 20, 15, 10, 5. Touchdown Beavers!
Monumentals or the black suits running in. Nod your head. The black suits. Let me see you nod your head like this. Let me see you like this. Let me see you bop your head. Nod your head. Come on. Let me see you like this. Let me see you nod your head like this. Check it, yo, it's this chick, right? Serlina, making me sick, right? Earth is worthless to her, she be tripping like threatening me and my men's trying to get the light, thinking she's
Welcome to Illegal Participation, the official podcast of the Heinrich Tailgater. Recording this while firmly ensconced at the Heinrich Tailgater headquarters, I'm your host, head chef, planner, and chief bottle washer, Bill Heine Heinrich. Joining me, as always, from... Actually, you're not at Twin Pines Vineyards Airbnb. You're actually...
I'm not.
You're at the parking lot of the Chipotle.
In Woodburn, yes.
In Woodburn. It is the lead driver and director of thermodynamic lipid immersion, my co-host and brother, the Beej. Beej, yeah, you're doing this one remotely tonight.
I am. I always tell you whenever we talk, I'm always like, I work a lot, right? Well, I'm in between shifts right now.
There you go.
So anyway, I got an hour and about an hour and a half? Yeah, about an hour and a half to get this done.
We got to do this so you can go get something to eat then.
Exactly.
Well, the purpose of illegal participation is for us to spread our insight, experiences, and passion for the Oregon State Beavers with others, and just generally talk Beaver sports, football, tailgate, and have some fun along the way. Remind everyone you can listen to us on your iPhone or Android device, on the Stitcher Radio app, on Apple Podcasts, Google Play Podcasts, Stitcher Radio, anywhere that your favorite podcast catcher is, you can listen to us. Remember to subscribe to us too. What?
I'd be curious on where our furthest listener is and how many people we got. I'm still curious.
Yeah.
I mean, have we broken 10 yet? Do you think?
10? I think we're at 12.
Oh, awesome. I was just hoping for double digits. I didn't think we'd get that far.
If you want to get in touch with us, HeinrichTailgater@gmail.com, at HeinrichTailgater on Twitter, also Heinrich Tailgater on Facebook. And Beej, guess what?
What?
Listener feedback.
I love listener feedback. I'm just glad somebody does this, so my time is not in vain. What do we got? Who called us? Who wrote to us today?
Somebody sent us an email.
Okay.
It was Kyle.
Okay.
I hate you, Kyle. But he did send something. This says, listener feedback. I do enjoy the rabbit holes you two fall into. Keep up the good work. It makes my Tuesdays in the fall enjoyable.
Oh, I'm glad somebody likes it.
Well, and I also got some more listener feedback this week.
2?
Well, yeah, this one.
2?
This one was from.
I can't do just 2.
And I don't have it sitting right here, but this one was from listener Doug, and he actually kind of gave me crap because we will talk about it later. We didn't talk about the nationally ranked women's cross country team that was competing in Monmouth this week. Well, and I
had no clue.
I know. I did look for it. I couldn't find any good information about it, so I didn't include anything. We do have some this week.
Okay.
So with that, are you ready to get into some Beaver sports news?
So ready, Billy. I'm out of control.
All right, Beej. Well, we're going to start with women's cross country.
Wow, I don't know what to think about women's cross country. Tell me something, Billy, so I can have an opinion.
Well, Beej, Oregon State kicked off their postseason in friendly territory as the Beavers hosted the 2019 Pac-12 Cross Country Championships in Monmouth, Oregon on Friday. Now,
Is that typically where cross country goes? Is Monmouth?
It rotates. It rotates with different schools hosting the event. But this race was contested at Ash Creek Preserve, the first dedicated cross-country course to host the Pac-12 championship. Now, featuring a hotly contested women's field, the Beavs faced 5 Pac-12 opponents out of the national coaches polling, including 3 in the top 5. Now, after running a program best 6th place finish last year, the Beavs ultimately showed a strong outing against tough competition to finish in 7th place, with multiple runners stepping up to the challenge. Oregon State was led by redshirt junior Lexi Reed, who finished in 28th place and moved up 9 spots from last year's race. Now, Reed has remained consistent all season and throughout her career as she's made significant improvements each year at the conference meet. Behind Reed, the Beavs were led by Audrey Luckner in 41st, Megan Lowe in 42nd, Mari Friedman in 44th, Greta Von Kalker in 50th, for a total of 5 Beavs to finish in the top 50. Now, the postseason continues November 15th at the NCAA West Regional Championships in Colfax, Washington. The top 2 teams in each race will secure an automatic qualifier into the national meet, with at-large selections to be announced later that weekend.
Is the top 50 considered good? How many people are running?
It's pretty good. I don't know how many. Beej, I don't know a lot about women's cross country, but each school runs a lot of girls at once. So it's not like one from each school. There's a whole mess of them that go.
How far do you run? Do you know?
I'm not sure how long the course is.
Cross country. I stand by. I think it goes Back to the Future 3. Run for fun?
It's 3.1 miles.
Okay.
That's what it says.
So
hold on.
So essentially, you could say it's like running a marathon off-road.
College men typically compete on 8 or 10 kilometer courses, while women race 5 or 6.
Okay. Like a 5K.
Yep, there you go.
All right,
cool. Beej, let's move on to women's volleyball.
Always love women's volleyball, Billy. Let me get comfortable for this one. Recline the seat here a little bit. Okay, I'm ready.
Cicely Max Brown registered 9 kills to pace the Oregon State offense. But the Beavers volleyball team fell in 3 sets at number 5 Stanford last Friday evening.
The only butts we should ever have in volleyball should be the cute little ones that are in the tight little spandex bottoms. That's what the butts that I want to hear, Billy.
Well, Beej, the Oregon State volleyball team rallied to take a set and stay alive in the third, but fell to number 20 Cal Saturday evening at Haas Pavilion. Now, the loss drops the Beavs to 9 and 14 overall, 3 and 9 in Pac-12 play. Now, the Beavs will return home for the next 2 weekends to host the Washington and Arizona schools to complete the home portion of their 2019 schedule. They host Washington State Thursday at 6, and then Washington on Sunday at 10.
Okay.
Sorry about that. Up next, Beej, women's soccer.
Well, hopefully, again, the only butts we talk about in this one are the cute little ones running around in cute little soccer shorts.
Oregon State women's
Please tell me, Billy. Please tell me there's no butts other than those.
Oregon State women's soccer team fell to number 13 UCLA on Thursday night, 4-0 at Lorenz Field.
There's no butt anyway.
No.
Okay.
Then on Sunday, the women battled number 11 USC for 90 minutes to a 1-0 loss. I was trying not to say but.
So they played for 90 minutes, no negative time on that one. They didn't have to make up time.
I don't think they keep that stuff in college. I think they actually stopped the stupid clock.
That's nice.
Yeah.
You would think that. Yeah, well, like we've always said, soccer is the reason why it's the most popular sport in the world, because all it takes is 4 rocks and a ball and a watch, really. And so that's probably why they go into negative time, because places across the world that actually have soccer don't have a stop clock.
Probably, Beej.
What do you bet?
I wouldn't doubt it.
Yeah, that's probably why they go into negative time.
Well, Beej, the women will
4 rocks, a ball, and a watch.
There you go. The women will be back Thursday evening at 7 p.m. for the final game of the regular season as they play host to them damn dirty Ducks in the Civil War and senior night.
All right.
Next up is wrestling. The Oregon State wrestling team opened its season on Wednesday night inside Gill for its annual Orange and Black Duel. The black team, coached by assistant Ian Miller, edged out the Orange squad, coached by assistant Taylor Meeks, by a final score of 26-25 after a 13-bout scrimmage to kick off the team's 2019-2020 campaign. But the Beavs are now idle until they open the regular season on November 9th at the Mountaineer Invitational in Boone, North Carolina. Oregon State returns back to the friendly confines of Gill Coliseum on January 10th for a duel against Northern Colorado at 7 p.m.
All right. Always love wrestling.
Yeah.
Mainly because, well, we have a wrestling program.
Yep, and those damn dirty Ducks don't.
I'd use different adjectives, but okay, sure.
Yep. All right, Beej. Time for some women's basketball.
And how are Ruick and the girls doing?
Well, the number 6 rated Oregon State women's basketball team tallied another dominating exhibition performance on Friday evening as they took down Concordia 106-45 at Gill. Senior Michaela Pivick put up a triple-double, going for 14 points, 15 rebounds, and 10 assists. Redshirt junior Destiny Slocum led all scorers with 24 points, knocking down 6 three-pointers and dishing out 9 assists. Now, the Beavs exploded out of the gate, taking a 15-2 lead within the first 3 minutes. They then parlayed that into a 32-9 advantage at the end of the first quarter. OSU was up 57-25 at the break. The second half featured more of the same, as the Beavs extended the lead to 84-39 at the end of the third. Then they outscored Concordia 22-6 in the closing period to wrap up the 61-point victory. Beej, the Beavs preseason slate wraps up tonight with the game against the USA Women's National Team at Gill Coliseum.
Are you keeping up to date on that as we speak?
I am. And the Beavs gave Team USA a run for their money on Monday night, but a 36-31 halftime deficit turned into a 17-point lead for USA after a 12-1 run to close out the third period. The game ended in an 81-58 win for Team USA. Now in the game, Destiny Slocum had 15, Aaliyah Goodman 14, and Michaela Pivick 10 for the Beavs.
At least there was no but.
Well, but that was actually very encouraging by the Beavs.
Okay.
Yeah, don't you think? I mean, I wouldn't have.
I would.
I'm encouraged by that outcome.
Yeah, who are ranked above them? If Oregon State's number 6.
Well, Oregon's ranked number 1. I believe Stanford is ranked. You're making me pull this up right now, Beej. This is where
where did Oregon got knocked out in the Final Four? Did Oregon get knocked out in the Final Four last year?
Correct.
Okay. Okay. But they still got a strong team going into this year.
Yeah, let me see here. God dang it.
Okay.
Hold on here. You make me look this stuff up.
You know, I would just think that by now, after frickin' God knows how many years of us doing this crap, you would know the stupid questions I would ask so you could be prepared.
Nope. Your stupidity always dumbfounds me.
I'm frickin' raw dogging. What?
I said your stupidity always dumbfounds me.
Oh.
Okay, so here's the ESPN rankings. Oregon's in at 1, Baylor in at 2, Stanford at 3, Maryland at 4, UConn at 5, Texas A&M at 6, Oregon State at 7.
I thought we were ranked at 6.
That was the AP poll. The coaches poll has Oregon State at 6. Usually when they've got 2 different rankings, I just give the higher one. So again, Oregon's ranked 1 in that one.
Or the lower one.
The better ranking.
Oh, okay.
I would say they're ranked higher. If you're ranked number 1, that's the highest ranking you can have.
Okay. All right.
But also ranked. Also ranked in the top 25 Beej so you have Oregon, Stanford, Oregon State, UCLA at 11, Arizona State at 20. You know, there's a lot of teams ranked.
So Pac-12's got a pretty solid. If you're doing well in the Pac-12, you're doing really well nationally.
Period. Yeah, pretty much. All
right.
All right, Beej. A little men's basketball news. Oregon State cruised to a 96-45 win over Warner Pacific on a Tuesday evening exhibition game at Gill. Trace Tinkle led the Beavs with 19 points, while Jared Lucas added 13, and Alfred Hollins and Gianni Hunt scored 12. The Beavs had 27 assists on its 34 baskets and shot 87% from the free throw line. Now, with the game tied 8-8, the Beavs went on a 29-2 run to take a 37-10 lead at the under 8 media timeout. They led 49-18 at halftime. The Beavs now open their 2020 regular season against CSUN. I don't know what that is. Cal State UN at 8 p.m. on Tuesday, November 5th at Gill. The game will be televised live on Pac-12 Network.
At 29-2, quite the run.
California State University Northridge.
That's what I was just looking up for.
Yeah, me too. Well, it's one of those ones, they don't have football anymore. They dropped their football program a few years ago, so I forget about that Cal State school. There's so many CSU schools too. So many of them. So, a little bit of football news. On Monday, Oregon State linebacker Omar Spates was named the Pac-12 Conference Freshman of the Week. Spates from Philadelphia led Oregon State with 10 tackles in the team's 56-38 win over Arizona the past weekend. He totaled 1 tackle for loss and a half sack versus the Wildcats, but his 10 tackles equaled his season best set against Utah on October 12th. Now, Spates is the first Oregon State freshman to earn a Pac-12 honor since both Sean Mannion and Scott Crichton were recognized on October 24th, 2011. He is also the first true freshman since Jaquiz Rogers on November 8th, 2008. Beej.
Okay. Billy.
I can't believe you actually brought that damn teletype in your truck.
You know, the son of a bitch plugs into my USB port.
Are you kidding
I had it
me?
updated.
Oh, nice.
No, I'm not kidding you. It's pretty slick. Okay, you ready for this?
Of course I am.
All right, hold on. God dang it, this thing's tight in here. That's what she said. With the recent NCAA ruling, Nike has extended name and likeness compensation packages to the nation's top high school athletes who choose to attend the U of O.
Imagine
the Ducks
that.
recruiting class of 2020 now has a higher total payroll than the entire player and coaching staff of the New York Yankees. This has been your update from Eugene.
I know, that's just that whole thing. Like I said, I knew it was coming, just because that's the way things are moving. But I'm going to be interested to see how they implement this whole thing.
I was absolutely surprised that the NCAA ruled unanimously to allow it when they seem to be such staunch opponents of it.
Well,
when California passed their little effort.
Well,
a week or two ago.
They like I said, there was that committee headed up by Condoleezza Rice a number of years ago, and that's one of the things they said that this needs to be addressed. The compensating student athletes needs to be addressed. They didn't say how, but they said something needs to change about this. So you knew it was coming, but it'll be interesting to see how it's implemented.
So, I mean, I guess you got. I mean, here's my question: who is to stop the name and likeness compensation from coming from the university to essentially becoming a pay-to-play?
I agree, because you're the number one running back recruit in the nation. Oh, if you go to Oregon State, you might sell 10,000 jerseys. Oh, but if you go to Alabama, you're going to sell 10 million. And guess what? The number one recruit the next year, if he goes to Alabama, is going to sell 10 million. And the next year, that number one recruit, if he goes to Alabama, is going to sell 10 million. So yeah. Oh no, I know.
So, I mean,
and who's to say it's not some rich donor who's buying all 10 million jerseys and shipping them off to Africa to clothe the people who don't have any clothes.
The Ethiopians to
buy them and donate them.
Yeah. Well, that's the question. I mean, the whole thing. I didn't agree with it before because essentially you weren't allowing a student to even be able to get a job or anything to fund a decent lifestyle, right?
Well,
I mean, you got your stipend and you got your because don't they give you a stipend right now?
Yeah.
Don't you get a scholarship and a stipend to live off of?
Correct.
But now you're going. I mean, again, what it's going to do is it's going to create even a bigger disparity between the dominant schools versus the secondary schools.
At least that's what it appears to. And then how is Title IX going to affect that? because a men's football player is going to make more than is going to be able to make more than, say, a women's golf player.
Yeah, because he's going to sell more jerseys.
Yeah. So how do you address that?
More bobbleheads, more everything.
Yeah. How do you address that? And
Well,
I'll tell you right now. I'll tell you right now too. The thing that I brought up originally about this whole thing is, and a couple senators have already mentioned it, they're going to 1099 them for the value of that scholarship.
Does that mean you're going to get 1099 on all scholarships now, or just athletic scholarships?
Well, who knows? Should you? Like I said, right now the government has turned a blind eye to those scholarships. And someone can say, well, I earned it. Well, great. You go out and earn money too. And I'm 1099 on my income. Exactly. And right now it's something they turn a blind eye on. And it's funny because people are like, I'm not saying I think it should be taxed. What I'm saying is it's a huge transfer of goods and services every year, be it through athletic scholarships or academic scholarships, that's transferring out there that the government is not taxing. When there's a transfer of goods and services or just wealth in general, the government taxes it. I can't give my kids a transfer of at that age, a transfer of that amount of money every year, and them not get taxed on it. So I'm just saying this is going to come to a head. I'm not saying for it, against it, whatever. I'm just saying it's out there, and this will have to be dealt with too.
So what's going to happen is you're going to have a kid who's financially can't afford college without an academic scholarship. And then they're going to give him an academic scholarship. And then they're like, oh, and by the way, the cost of the value of the scholarship is $35,000 a year. You're going to get a 1099. So your obligation between your tax and your Social Security and everything else that you got to pay on this transaction is going to be what? Maybe $10,000?
I don't know. It wouldn't be that much.
$8,000?
Wouldn't be that much. Nah, if that's all you're getting, it's probably 3 or 4.
On 35,000?
Yeah.
If you're paying 10%, that's 3,500.
Yeah, but you got to remember they can deduct themselves, and but anyways, it's just whatever it is. It's there. So.
Gotta get nasty. Nasty.
Yeah, it'll have to be dealt with in one way or another. All right, good. Yeah. Good update from Eugene Beej. All right, it is now.
You know that Oregon's probably already got a group looking into values of these things and how they can market and how they can go after the current recruits. I'm sure that who's their coach's name? I always forget. It's
Mario
a crazy
Cristobal.
name. Yeah, I always want to say Crystal Ball.
Yeah, kind of.
Like I'm looking into the crystal ball. Madame Leota. Anyway, I just wait and see what.
It's gonna.
I just can't help but think that the Ducks are just going to buy players. We thought what they did with what's his face, Lyles.
Willie Lyles.
With Willie Lyles, we thought that was bad. And this shit's going to be legal.
Yep. Well,
so
they're going to have to do something. Trust me, they'll have to work something out.
Yeah. All right.
We're worried about Oregon here, but you also got to worry about Washington, USC. There's a couple other schools that would fall into this pretty easily. Or hell, half the reason why the NCAA rulebook for football is so damn thick is because of teams in the SEC, the ACC, and the old Big 12. Or Big 8.
Absolutely.
Sorry, the old Big 8. With like SMU and Texas and all those guys down there. Oh, hell yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Beej, you ready to go under further review for week number 10 in the Pac-12?
After further review, the runner did cross the line of the goal line. Touchdown.
Yes, I only watched about half of the Oregon State game because I was working on the bed and breakfast.
Oh yeah.
So I'm doing pretty good. I'm getting some reservations. So
Good.
Yeah, great reviews. It's a nice place.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I missed the first half, but I got the second half, and I got part of the Utah game. That was a hell of a nail biter.
Yeah. Well, Beej, let's talk. All of the games were on Saturday, November 2nd. I've got our scores here. Heading into the week, Kyle, I hate you, Kyle, was in last place with 33 out of 46. You were in second place with 40 out of 46. and I was in first place with 42 out of 46. And I will tell you, one of us had a very good week.
I know who that one person is, too.
First up, Beej, Utah at Washington.
And I am still on the Utah bandwagon on this one. We picked them to beat the hell out of the Huskies, but it wasn't a beatdown.
No. Utah quarterback Tyler Huntley threw for one touchdown and ran for another. Jalen Johnson returned an interception for 39 yards for a score. And number 9 Utah overcame an 11-point first-half deficit to beat Washington 33-28. Now Huntley hit Moss on a 9-yard TD late in the first half and added a 1-yard touchdown run early in the fourth quarter to give Utah its first lead at 26-21. Huntley's TD run capped a drive that featured a key 3rd and 12 conversion where Huntley was able to hit Jalen Dixon for a 41-yard completion. Huntley finished 19 of 24 for 284 yards. He was sacked 4 times, and Utah had only allowed 7 sacks all season, but all came in the first half, and the Utes were able to protect Huntley much better as the game progressed. Now, Huntley also had a pair of key 3rd down conversions on Utah's final scoring drive, hitting Solomon Enos for 14 yards and Samson Nakoa for 28. Moss capped the 84-yard drive with a 2-yard TD run with 4:52 left. Moss finished with 100 yards on 27 carries. Now, Washington dropped its second straight after losing to Oregon 2 weeks ago and lost for the 3rd time at home this season. Eason was 29 of 52 for 316 yards and 4 TDs. He had a nearly perfect beginning before a pair of critical mistakes in the third quarter. Now, he threw an 11-yard TD to Jordan Chin on Washington's first possession, and despite a fumble leading to a Utah field goal early in the second quarter, his 34-yard TD pass to Hunter Bryant gave the Huskies a 14-3 advantage. But it got significantly more difficult for Eason from there. They were leading 14-13, but he foolishly threw into triple coverage on the first drive of the second half and was intercepted by Julian Blackman at the Utah 8. He rebounded with a 40-yard TD pass to Bryant, but his next major mistake came later in that quarter when Utah brought a blitz. Now, Eason made a careless throw that was an easier catch for Johnson than intended target Aaron Fuller. That interception was returned for a touchdown and pulled the Utes within 21-19. I'm just surprised. It was actually a pretty good back and forth game. So, but Washington gave but I believe they lost another. Who was their one big? Not Nakua. Who's their one receiver?
Who we talking Utah or Washington?
Washington.
I don't know, Billy. I don't know.
Hold on here. I'll find it.
You can't find it even if you had a microscope.
Puka Nakua didn't play, and I believe Chico McClatcher's been hurt too.
Chico and the man?
Yeah. Huh. So, anyways, so he's had significant. Eason's had significantly less targets. So we all got the win on that one. All right, Beej. Up next.
Well, that could benefit us next week though.
It could. Up next, Beej. Oregon at USC.
Well, you and I thought the men of Troy were going to be able to pull one off, and Kyle, please just say your thing, Billy.
I hate you, Kyle.
Thank you. Pick the no good, rotten, dirty, cheating Ducks.
Yeah, well, and he was trying to remember he was doing some reverse psychology too. Justin Herbert passed for 225 yards and threw 3 touchdown passes to Juwan Johnson in the second half, and number 7 Oregon recovered from a slow start to cruise to its 8th consecutive victory, 56-24 over USC Saturday night. Now, freshman Michael Wright returned to kick off 100 yards for a touchdown shortly after Brady Breeze, who returned an interception 32 yards for a score late in the second quarter for the Ducks. Now, Oregon had released an early 10-0 deficit by scoring a touchdown after each of 4 turnovers by USC freshman quarterback Keaton Slovis during a 19-minute stretch spanning before halftime. Now, Herbert and receiver Jalen Redd rushed for touchdowns in the first half for Oregon, which remained on track for the Pac-12 North title and a good shot at the college football playoff. Now, Herbert threw his second interception of the season and didn't look sharp early, but the senior NFL prospect went 21 for 26 overall. Now, the Ducks did commit 12 penalties for 157 yards and had 2 defensive players ejected, yet they remained perfect since its season opener after its defense thoroughly rattled Slovis. Now, Slovis for USC threw for 264 yards and 3 TDs on a USC record 57 pass attempts, but his 3 interceptions and a fumble erased the Trojans' solid start. Now, Beej, I have to say, USC has no running game.
What
they have none, no running game at all.
What did the 2 players get? What did the 2 players get ejected for?
One was for a targeting penalty, and another one got 2 personal fouls on one play. He kind of went in. The guy was basically down. He kind of went in and hit him, and then kind of picked him up and hit him, and then as the referee ran in and tried to push him off, the guy kind of hit the referee in the hands, and I think that's what got him ejected.
Wow.
But yeah, 57 pass attempts.
So when they're ejected, is that going to punish them into the next game?
You have to sit out a whole game. You have to sit out a whole game, so you have to sit out 2 halves. So if you're on the last play of 1 half, I believe that's a half.
Oh wow. Okay.
So I think as long as they're both gone in the first half, I think they'll be back. If nothing else, they'll be back by the second half of next week.
Okay. Gotcha.
So Kyle got the win there. You and I did not. Up next, Beej, Colorado at UCLA.
And you and I thought the sun was going to shine on Colorado's ass this week.
Actually, I think this is the one Kyle was using reverse psychology on, picking UCLA.
Yeah. They've won like 3 in a row now.
Yeah. Well, Beej, UCLA quarterback Dorian Thompson-Robinson passed for 226 yards and 2 TDs. Running back Josh Kelly ran for 126 yards. And UCLA won its 3rd straight game on Saturday night, defeating Colorado 31-14 at the Rose Bowl. Thompson-Robinson was 21 of 28 passing, completing 10 of his first 11, including first quarter touchdowns of 16 yards to Devan Assisi and 45 yards to Ethan Furnia, as the Bruins scored on their first 3 drives to take a 17-0 lead 12 minutes into the game. Now, the sophomore also rushed for 38 yards. For Colorado, Steven Montez was 21 of 38 for 195 yards, and he accounted for both Colorado touchdowns. He had a 2-yard scramble around left end to bring the Colorado Buffaloes within 17-7 midway through the second, and had a 27-yard TD pass to Tony Brown with 5:57 remaining in the game to bring them within 10 again. So Colorado not looking good.
I hate UCLA.
Oh, do you hate?
No, and I hate Chip Kelly.
Yeah, Chip Kelly.
I was listening to an interview here when I was driving home late last night, and I don't even know what the hell radio station I was listening to, but they were interviewing some player from UCLA, and it pretty much said, well, you got 3 wins in a row here. The South looks, it's not going to be able for them to do much in the South other than to be a spoiler.
Mm-hmm.
So, but still, I hate Chip Kelly.
Oh, I agree. All right, Beej. Up next, Oregon State at Arizona.
And shockingly, we all picked the Beavs on this one, Billy.
We did, Beej.
How did that turn out? How did that turn out?
Well, Beej, Oregon State quarterback Jake Luton threw for 328 yards and 3 TDs. Jamar Jefferson ran for 3 more scores, and Oregon State sliced through Arizona's listless defense for a 56-38 victory on Saturday. Now, just the week before, Arizona had fired defensive coordinator Marcel Yates and replaced him with former NFL assistant coach Chuck Cecil. But Beej, the Beavs manhandled the Wildcats up front while churning out big plays, scoring 35 points by halftime and racking up 572 total yards for the game. Now, Luton finished 20 of 26 and threw 2 TD passes to Isaiah Hodgins, who had 7 catches for 150 yards. For Arizona, Grant Gunnell threw for 269 yards and 2 touchdowns for the Wildcats, who have lost 4 straight. Now, Luton hit Hodges on a 21-yard TD pass on the Beavs' opening drive, and then he also hit a wide-open Noe Togiai for a 23-yard score to close the first half. Jefferson scored on TD runs of 1 and 5 yards, and Artavis Pierce also added a 4-yard TD run. Oregon State had 385 yards and a 35-19 lead at halftime. Jefferson then scored on a 5-yard run to open the second half, and Luton's 25-yard TD pass to Hodgins put the Beavs up 49-31 in the fourth quarter. But Beej, the Beavs had a rough day with penalties, particularly face mask calls. The Beavs had 12 penalties for 120 yards, including 3 face masks.
Was that were they just trying to grab whatever they could?
A couple of them, yeah. You're just reaching out there and just trying to grab something, and
because one of their guys got nailed for that horse collar though too.
And that was a good call too, because he did horse collar.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
The Beavs defense was led by Omar Spates with 10 tackles, including 6 solo stops and a tackle for loss. Avery Roberts added 8 tackles with another 6 solos. And Hamilcar Rashid Jr. put together another dominant performance with 4 tackles and 3 sacks. He's up to 12 sacks on the season.
They're just looking good. They're just, I always quote you all the time, Billy, when you always say, I just want to see constant improvement.
Yep.
And I really think we're seeing constant improvement this year.
Mm-hmm.
There's a couple teams, and the fact is, there are going to be teams out there that are better than you, and
Correct.
Utah is definitely one of them.
Correct.
But other than that, we're going up against these teams that I think we're pretty equally compared to, and we're putting on we're putting it together better.
Well, and if you look at the Pac-12 this year, you've got Oregon at 6-0, 8-1 overall. Utah at 5-1, 8-1 overall. So those two stand out. But then second place, you got Oregon State at 3-2, 4-4. Stanford 3-3, 4-4. Washington 2-4, 5-4. I mean, everyone's got multiple wins. The worst team in the Pac-12, Colorado's 1-5 and 3-6 overall.
Wow.
Yeah. So nobody in the Pac-12 is horrible.
So,
and my thing is, look at last year, Beej. Look at last year. You look at every team the Beavs played last year. That team's running back had their best day of the season against the Beavs. That running defense was horrible. Is it perfect now? No, but it's much better. Is our pass rush better? Oh, hell yes. And that's what you just want to do, is just keep getting better.
Yeah, I was going to say something and I just spaced it.
Okay. Well, keep thinking.
I can't remember.
I will. I was going to add. We'll go back to the Pac-12 and the polls, Beej. The AP poll.
That was going to be my question. Why keep looking up? Does it show Stanford as number 2 in the North?
Stanford isn't number 2; they're number 3.
Well, yeah, but every time I look it up, they put Oregon State as number 3, and I'm like, but we have one less loss than Stanford.
Yeah, but they've got a win over us. So
no, we got the same. Oh, is that what they're saying?
Probably.
Because we have the same number of wins.
Yeah.
Even though they've got one more loss.
Correct.
So, and because of tiebreaker, they would go over us.
So we've got a half. Okay. We've got a half a game on them in the loss column, but they've got a half a game basically on us in the win column because of the. So I'd imagine that's what it is.
Okay.
All right, Beej. So in the polls,
it's been pissing me off, Billy. It's been pissing me off.
So in the polls, Beej, AP poll. Oregon's number 7, Utah's number 8.
Wow.
Washington is in the other receiving votes category.
Did Utah jump up quite a bit?
They both moved up, yes.
Okay, because wasn't Oregon like what, 11?
I think 9 or 10. Geez, see, you do this to me again. I gotta pull that up.
I'd like to think you prepare a little bit better for this. I'm doing this crap out in the middle of a freaking parking lot at the Chipotle.
Let's see. Oregon moved up. Oh, no, they were 7. Utah moved up 1.
Okay.
Yeah, and in the other poll, Oregon moved up 1 and Utah moved up 1. So
okay. There
you go. But there's going to be a lot of movement coming up because now all the top teams are going to start playing each other.
Gotcha.
Yep. All right, and we will get our first playoff poll up this week too. So we'll start seeing how that's setting up. All right, Beej, it is now time for the Tommy Tuberville.
What's he think I look like? A jackass?
You sure do.
Jackass of the Week award. Every week, we discuss a person in college football who exemplifies the truly worst in sportsmanship, leadership, or just being a fan. And this week, Beej, this one is going out to, it's going out to Florida State and head coach Willie Taggart. Or should I say or should I say former head coach Willie Taggart.
Seriously.
Florida State fired Coach Willie Taggart on Sunday, ending his tenure with the Seminoles after only 21 games. Now, under Taggart, Beej, the Seminoles showed little to no progress, and an embarrassing 27-10 loss to rival Miami on Saturday made it clear to administrators that they had to make a change. Florida State dropped to 4-5 and needs wins in 2 of its final 3 games just to get back to bowl eligibility. Last year, Beej, in Taggart's first year, Florida State failed to make a bowl game for the first time since 1981.
Wow.
Now, Florida State University President John Thrasher said, quote, "I think very highly of Coach Taggart and wish him well, but in the interest of the university, we had no choice but to make a change." Now, FSU raised about $20 million in private donations to buy out what was left of Taggart's contract, sources told ESPN. However, an FSU official denied that the money was raised for Taggart's buyout. So they're not denying that money was raised, just that it was raised for his buyout. Now, under the terms of Taggart's 6-year, $30 million contract, FSU's athletic department will owe him 85% of his remaining compensation through January 31st, 2024, which is between $17 and $18 million. The Seminoles also paid Oregon a $3 million buyout when it hired him away from the Ducks in December of 2017, as well as the remaining $1.3 million buyout that Oregon owed South Florida when it hired him in December 2016.
Wow.
Yep. So not only do they have to pay money to Oregon, $3 million to Oregon, they got to pay the remaining $1.3 million to South Florida that Oregon had to pay for their buyout when they got him from South Florida. Now, in both seasons under Taggart, FSU significantly underperformed its expected results from the Football Power Index. At the start of 2018, FSU was ranked 18th in FPI. They finished 67th. This season, they were ranked 22nd at the start of the year, and they're currently 46th. And Beej,
wow.
There's many things that there's a lot of jackassery in this one. First of all, Willie Taggart's just a jackass. The guy has never accomplished really anything. His best years at any of his time head coaching were mediocre at best. He has more losing records.
When he coached the Ducks,
they were like 6-6.
Yeah, they weren't. They didn't. And everybody's like, "Oh, he's the greatest thing. Just wait till next year."
Yeah, and that's what it always was. Wait till next year.
I don't. Next year. Yeah, I didn't think. Yeah.
Yeah. No.
So.
And so, they went out and paid a crap ton of money for this guy, and he really accomplished nothing. He'd accomplished nothing.
Well, and he left. Was he a jackass of the week when he left? Did we make him a jackass when he left Oregon?
Oh yeah, because he stayed for 1 year.
Because
he said all this stuff.
Yeah,
like,
well,
I'm
that
not
was just
interested.
really.
Yep.
Yeah, and then he's like, "Oh, I'm a Seminole from the get-go, and this opportunity it's a dream for myself and my family," and yeah.
Yeah. So he was 10-2 at Western Kentucky, and then 7-5, 7-5. Then went to South Florida, 10-2, 4-8. 8-5, 10-2. At the Ducks, 7-5. Then at Florida State, 5-7 and 4-5. His overall coaching record is 56-62. What in his time there did he do to deserve $18 million?
I don't know.
$30 million.
I always wondered why.
$30 million on his original contract with and don't get me wrong.
I could never figure out why Oregon.
I begrudge.
Well, I couldn't figure out why Oregon hired him in the first place.
Yeah.
Because I just didn't think he had that strong of a record to justify the kind of money they were paying him. I mean, he didn't really even have. I mean, the team he was coaching for was kind of a substandard team anyway, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Pretty lackadaisical. Yeah.
And my thing there was, I don't begrudge people exploiting their talents to make as much money as they can. Have at it. That said, why are these schools paying this much money for a guy who has? You want to go out and get a coach that has a record that would make that seem correct? Then great. But there was nothing that he did.
Sometimes you wonder if they don't want to pay him a lot of money just to make him sound like, oh, he's worth this much money.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I'm proud to say, is Jonathan Smith still the number 9 paid coach in the Pac-12?
Yeah, probably 9 or 10.
Or no, he was number 11. He was
Something
number
like
11
that.
when we hired him.
Yeah, probably something like that. But yeah. Anyways, and so part of it is the schools pay. And, the same thing happens in the corporate world, right? These CEOs leave. They do nothing if not drive down their company, and then they get a job for more money somewhere else. And they talk about FOMO, the fear of the
they
fear.
Usually jump ship. They usually jump ship before the company takes a nosedive.
Yeah.
They see a better opportunity, and they know that what they've done isn't going to do anything. If not, they see the tidal wave coming to hit, and they're gonna get the hell off the beach.
Yeah. And so the term is failing up. They just keep failing up. But they talk about FOMO, the fear of missing out that people have. Like they see something on social media and like, oh, I need to go do this thing because everyone else is doing it and I don't want to be that's what I feel is with some of these schools paying these guys money. Like a guy has a mediocre season. It's like, well, we got to give him an extension. Why? Wait a year. You're still under contract. Wait a year. Do you really think okay, he did okay, but do you really think it's worth throwing a bunch of money at him with an okay season? Wait till he does something great.
Well, and do you really think that there's going to be another team out there that's going to pay an obscene amount of money for a guy who's marginal at best?
Yeah.
And if they do, let them have him.
Yeah. The best thing you do there is pay him okay and give him a big buyout so that the other school wants to come in and get him. It's going to cost him some money.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Anyways, so Florida State and Willie Taggart, you guys are this week's jackasses of the week. All right. Anyways, I was just like, why do they pay him all this money? He's not he's not worth it. Would somebody like, Nick Saban be worth that money? Yes. But what the hell has Willie Taggart done to justify that amount of money? All right, Beej, it is now time for our musical interlude of the week. 1985.
Ooh. And
is my pick this week. And, I heard this song on the radio, and I'm like, you know what? This is the song I'm going to pick. This song ended up number 15 on the 1985 top charts. You're going to know the song as soon as I start talking about it. It's a single by Huey Lewis and the News. And it was written for and featured in the 1985 blockbuster film Back to the Future. It gave the band their first number one hit on the U.S. Billboard Hot 100 and their second number one hit on the U.S. Top Rock Tracks chart. And of course, the song is The Power of Love. Now, Beej, the funny thing about this song, do you know why they wrote this song and put it in the in Back to the Future?
Well, I remember reading an article on it that said that the guys who did the I don't know if it would have been Zemeckis or who, but they were pissed that it didn't say Back to the Future in the title.
Yeah.
And so when they released it on the radio, they told the DJs and everybody, make sure you tell people this is from the movie Back to the Future.
Yeah.
Because there was nothing in the song that really referenced Back to the Future at all.
Yeah. But do you know why Huey Lewis and the News wrote and recorded the song?
Have no clue.
Well, the year before, they were asked to do the title song for a little movie called Ghostbusters.
Yeah, and they refused, and then they ended up suing Ray Parker Jr. for stealing.
And winning because it's a lot like I Want a New Drug. That song is basically a ripoff of it. So when another movie came along, they're like, well, and that song Ghostbusters made a whole hell of a lot of money, right?
Absolutely.
It sold a whole bunch of records. So when it came along the next year, they're like,
Ray Parker Jr. Ray Parker Jr. made a lot of money on that song.
Yeah, and that's why when it came by the next time, they're like, oh, hell yeah, we'll do it. Of course.
Well, and then on top of that, Huey Lewis got the little cameo in the movie. So,
Beej, the song appears early in Back to the Future as Marty McFly skateboards to school. Later in the film, McFly and his band play a hard rock version of the song for a Battle of the Bands audition, at which a character played by Huey Lewis himself is judging. And he tells Marty's group that they are, quote, just too darn loud. And later when Marty returns to his neighborhood. So now in the sequel, Back to the Future Part 2, the 2015 version of Marty attempts to play the song on his guitar just after being fired, but ends up playing it very poorly due to his damaged hand from his 1985 accident with a Rolls Royce. Now, finally, Beej, it can be briefly heard playing in the car where Needles and his buddies are driving when Needles challenges Marty to the fate-determining car race near the end of Back to the Future Part 3.
And do you want to take it one step further?
Go ahead.
With that scene?
Go ahead.
Is in the Star Wars story Solo. Solo talks about flying and his buddy Needles.
Yep.
And that reference to his buddy Needles is directly based on the Back to the Future reference.
Yep. And who plays Needles?
So, Needles is played by Flea of the Red Hot Chili Peppers.
That is correct. All right, Beej, without any further ado, here is Power of Love by Huey Lewis and the News. Anyways, that's a great song, Beej. I do enjoy that song.
You know, I kind of wish we could hear the heavy metal version that Marty was playing, because it's just so heavy on the bass line when he starts playing it with his band.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, damn. You know, Huey Lewis has always amazed me because when you look at the 80s and the type of music that was going on at the time, Huey Lewis was like, to me, like nothing else out there.
Mhm.
You know, it was a lot of horns, a lot of brass. Definitely not hard rock, not.
They were their own sound.
Yeah. And, you know, I don't think we've ever talked about Huey
Little
Lewis
doo-woppy.
either. But yeah. But Huey Lewis is also the biggest man in music. Because there was that gal, I can't remember who she was,
The plaster
but she would
caster?
take plaster casts of musicians and singers' junk, and according to her, Huey Lewis was the biggest man in the music industry that she ever met. Yeah, and he's never denied that fact. Of course, why would you?
Yeah.
But then the funny story too is Gene Simmons wrote a song called Plaster Caster about it, yet he himself was never asked by her for a plaster cast.
Correct.
So I wonder if she's still alive, because I mean she was doing that stuff 30 years ago.
I heard her on I heard her on the Mark and Brian show one time.
But how long has Mark and Brian been off the air now?
Oh, it's been quite a while.
5-6 years.
So
yeah,
Cynthia Alberton, or Cynthia Plaster Caster, is a recovering groupie, gained fame from her erecting her plaster cast. She was born in 1947.
Wow, she's 72.
Yeah. And actually there was a documentary called Plaster Caster was made about her. So there you go. Beej, but
Really?
we need to get moving because you've only got so much time. So we are going to move on
that's
to
true.
week number 11 in the Pac-12. I've got Kyle's
Okay.
email here, and we're going to jump right into it. We've got one game on Friday night, November 8th, Washington at Oregon State.
Philly cheesesteak day.
Correct.
Hold on here. All right, let's see what we got going on. Oregon versus I'm going to have to think really hard about this one. Really, really hard. And, well, I think I'm going to go with the Beavs on this one, Billy. I'm going to jump out of my comfort zone a little bit.
Kyle says, does Jonathan Smith have his team ready to beat his old boss? Yes, he does. Well, maybe. But this is not the week to stop being a homer. Go Beavs. So I, too, am taking OSU.
Okay.
All right, next up, we have 3 games on November 9th, Saturday. First up, Stanford at Colorado.
I'm going to say the Cardinals going to beat I just think Colorado is just going to be sinking down the toilet. I don't think there's any hope for their season.
Right on.
So
You say Stanford. I, too, am taking Stanford. Kyle says, I'm at a loss. For a snarky comment on this one, Stanford wins. Okay. Up next, USC at Arizona State.
ooh, that's an interesting one. Will USC be able to come to the party, or is Arizona State going to dominate at home? I'm going to take Arizona State on this one.
You're taking ASU? Kyle's,
Yeah, I think USC's done. I think after that loss last week, I think they're going to. I think they're just going to.
fold.
like they're going to shrivel up like a penis in cold water. That's
There you
what's
go.
going to happen.
Kyle says, I know nothing about ASU this year except they play the Bees the next week. USC, big win. Completely demoralizing ASU team. All starters quit and transfer due to complete disgust with the program. Intramural Chess Club is recruited to fill in for week 12.
Wow.
I just don't know who to take. I'm going to take USC.
Oh, I'm standing alone. The
Okay.
beach stands alone.
And last but not least, Beej, Wazoo at Cal.
Wazoo at Cal. Are they going to Coug it? I mean, I honestly don't think. Well, I hope they have one more Coug left in them. I don't think this is the week, so I'm going to pick Wazoo.
Wazoo. Kyle says, the fight for the bottom of the Pac-12, Cougs win. I'm going to take Cal. The defense is too good. So there you go. All right. That is that. And I didn't give our stats at the end of last week, Beej. Kyle moved up 2 spots to 37 out of 50. You are at 42 out of 50, and I'm at 44 out of 50. So Kyle making his move here towards the end. All right,
well,
Beej.
and we could see some very change here because you and I picked a couple different teams. So I could possibly get tied, or I could possibly get my ass handed to myself. So I don't know.
That's right. All right, Beej.
All righty.
It's now time for a segment that we haven't done in quite a while. It is time for the Tanner Boyle Makes Me Want to Puke Play of the Week.
Bro, does that booger eating spaz make me want to puke?
So, Beej, I sent you a link. If you could open that up as you're watching.
Okay.
Now, this is Buddha Bolden.
It might play across my.
If it does,
I was going to say it might play across my speakers here. So okay.
If it does, I'll stop. Buddha Bolden from the University of Miami Beach.
All right.
So Buddha Bolden made a play worthy of celebrating early in the third quarter against the Florida State Seminoles on Saturday. Now, DJ Ivey made a great play to deflect a Florida State pass into the air, and Bolden made a great play to track it down and make a diving interception. Then everything went wrong. Bolden leaped to celebrate his first career interception as a Hurricane, and fellow safety Gervin Hall Jr. flew in for some sort of like chest bump. The two collided awkwardly, and Bolden fell to the ground even more awkwardly. The defensive back landed strangely on his ankle, and you can just see it buckle underneath him, Beej.
Okay, I'm ready to play this, so hold on. There might be an ad.
Watch his left ankle.
Ooh, damn it. Hold on, I got to make it big. I'm making it big.
Rub on it.
I've already been doing that all night. What is it? His upper ankle or his lower one?
Look at his left. I think it's his left ankle. Watch it buckle underneath him as he lands. Ankles aren't supposed to bend like that.
Oh God, no!
You finally saw it. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's hard to see because the camera angle isn't very good.
Yeah, but you can see the way his ankle bends. It's not.
Oh God, yes. Oh, now I saw it. Yes. Shit.
Yeah.
And this was his first career interception.
Yep. So he had to hobble off the field, Beej. Now the Miami has the turnover chain celebration where they give whoever gets the turnover, they wear this big like gold chain with a big U on it. It was a little bit of a muted turnover chain celebration because Bolden couldn't stand up at all. He then went into the medical tent to be checked out and was later helped into the locker room without putting any weight on his ankle.
Wow.
Pretty gross.
Okay. And all something stupid. No more chest bumping. And it was a really awkward. It was like he came up to him on the side and
and then he just kind of started falling over backward and tried to catch himself, and just wasn't supposed to be that way. All right, Beej, we do have a home game this week. That means a Heinrich tailgater. So, Washington game, Friday night, kickoff at 7:30. Mm-hmm. What time? We'll be out there about noon to set up.
And that's what I was thinking, noon.
Noon to set up. Be ready to go by about 1.
Yep.
And food ready about 3 o'clock.
Sounds good.
Go until 6:30.
All righty.
Cheesesteaks. Whiz, provolone, cheddar, all the fixins, onions, peppers, mushrooms.
I don't do fungus, Billy, but sure.
I know. Veggies, chips, dips. I got a whole complement of stuff for you to deep fry. Gibby went with me.
Okay.
Gibby and Jess are with me on Saturday when we went to Cash and Carry, and we bought a whole mess of stuff because we ate everything we had last time. There was nothing left.
It was nuts.
Yeah. So we got all that. Anything else to add on that, Beej?
No, I think that's
3 o'clock food. Clean up at 6:30. Come out and get it.
Yeah.
Sound good?
I'm excited. I mean, Friday games are always a little bit difficult, but this should be a good game. I don't know if any of our Washington fans are going to be coming down for it, but if you can, love to see you. Wear your colors.
Yeah, always fly your colors.
Usually Washington travels really well too. So, I would like to just see a full stadium again because the last few games have been really lackluster in terms of attendance.
Yeah.
And this should be a good game.
Yeah, I agree. So,
I was going to ask you, when was the last time we beat the Huskies? Do you know?
2011, I believe, Beej.
Because it's been a long time since we beat those bastards. No offense to our Husky fans up there.
Yeah, well, I call you a bastard too, so.
Yeah, that's true.
Let's see, 2011. Beavs won 38-21.
What was the game? How long ago was the game that we almost had the riot at for that bad call where we booed for the whole half?
Oh, shoot. That was 2007.
Was it that long ago? 12 years ago.
Yeah.
That one, I mean, I still remember those refs ran off that damn field. So
yeah.
And they deserved.
2011, the Beavs only ended up 3-8. Washington was 6-5, but the Beavs, Mannion threw for 339 yards and 2 TDs. Wheaton had 3 catches for 66 yards. Or he had, 3 rushes for 66 yards and 7 receptions for 125.
Wow.
So. Yep. Oh, it looks like Washington had a backup quarterback in Nick Montana, Joe Montana's son.
Yeah,
and,
did he ever go anywhere?
No. Then they ended up bringing in Keith Price to stand in for him. Must have been Keith Price's first year at quarterback.
Okay.
But anyways, that was last time, 2011.
All right. Well, a lot of time for records to be broken.
There you go. I want to thank everyone for listening.
There
you go. I want to thank everyone for listening to show number 133 of Legal Participation. If you want to comment, send a suggestion, ask a question, HeinerTailgater@gmail.com, @HeinerTailgater on Twitter, HeinerTailgater on Facebook. Remember, listen and subscribe to us on whatever your favorite podcatcher is. Beej.
Billy.
Next week, show number 134. Hopefully, we'll be talking about another Beaver win and be one game closer to possibly some holiday plans for the Beavs.
I would love holiday plans, Billy.
There's a couple things that I have purposely not talked about. One is holiday plans. One is something else that the Beavs are very low on, which is a good thing in football games. They haven't done it very many times, and I haven't purposely talked about it because I don't want to jinx it.
Okay.
There's bad things to do in football games when you have the ball. The Beavs haven't done it very many times this year.
So
got
you.
There
I
it is.
understand what you're talking about. Yeah.
All right. So hopefully we don't have any of those things to talk about either. So until next week, here's a great big Go Beavs.
This just in. Oh, dang nabbit. Where in the hell? This is what I get for. Oh. A lot of paper in here. Okay, this just in.
Yes, Beej.
Plug in my phone so I don't die. We're doing it live.
We're doing it live.